Have you ever stopped, really thought about what makes a place tick?
Yeah.
Beyond just its name on a map. What gives it that specific rhythm, its soul, I guess, the spirit of the people there. Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We're looking at the essence of Goa, exploring how its roots, its spirit, are maybe being reclaimed, or at least people are trying, amidst all the change that's happening.
It's constant, isn't it?
It really is. And our way into this is through some really interesting writing, excerpts titled Echoes of Goa, Reclaiming Our Roots and Spirit. They paint a pretty vivid picture of life there, both then and now.
Yeah, they do. And our mission here, well, it's about digging into that, pulling out the key takeaways from these pieces, not just about Goa specifically,
Sure.
but using Goa as a lens, really.
Yeah.
Looking at that universal challenge. How do you hold on to local culture? How do you support communities and protect the natural beauty of a place when everything's getting so globalized, so digital?
That's a great way to put it.
So as we talk this through, maybe you, the listener, can think about how these ideas might connect to your own local scene, the traditions and places you care about.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. The source paints this. Well, this really evocative picture of Goa before the digital age really, really took hold. A different rhythm altogether.
Definitely.
Imagine, life feeling slow, simple. Balcows, those front verandas, apparently filled with laughter. Proper siestas after lunch.
Oh, the siestas. A lost art in many places.
Totally. And these Tinto markets, the local fish and produce spots just buzzing with local voices, impromptu football games popping up on red mud fields, villages sounded incredibly tight-knit.
Yeah.
It really felt like it was all about connection, wasn't it? Not just convenience.
Connection over convenience. That's a key theme, I think.
Right. Now, obviously, the digital age, it brings opportunities. Change isn't automatically bad. We know that.
Of course not.
But as this sort of new wave came in, promising all this convenience, the source seems to suggest it also kind of washed something away, something valuable.
Yeah.
So if that was the rhythm then, what started to fade? What echoes of that old charm got a bit quieter?
Well, that's the crux of it, isn't it? It's fascinating how these seemingly small shifts, you mentioned that the market's getting quieter, maybe those beautiful natural spots getting either overcrowded or a bit ignored.
Yeah.
How those things actually reflect something bigger, a shift in maybe community values or priorities.
Yeah.
It's almost like this subtle trade-off happens.
Trading what for what?
Well, maybe trading that tangible face-to-face connection for digital ease, for convenience. And it really makes you ask, can we have progress without losing the very soul of a place, that distinctiveness?
You said a shift in community values. Can you give an example? What does that look like on the ground beyond just quieter markets? What's the sort of deeper thing you're seeing there?
I think it's about what becomes central to daily life. When convenience becomes king, those sort of natural gathering spots, the market, the village square, maybe even the balcao you mentioned, they lose some of their pull. People connect maybe less spontaneously, less in person. Those little interactions that, organically build community, they might start to thin out. It's not just physical change, it's social, cultural.
Right.
And that leads us straight into what the source says about taking action.
Exactly. It shifts from just observing to saying, okay, what do we do? And the material really pushes this idea, this need to actively support Goan locals.
He's very direct about it.
And it gives real concrete examples. Like instead of just defaulting to online ordering, it says, go buy your fish, your veggies, your bread from the actual market aunties and uncles.
Face to face.
Yeah. Or when you're buying souvenirs, make a point to look for the Goan handicraft tag. Choose the local eateries, the ones where the food isn't just standard fare, but comes from recipes passed down generations.
Real heritage on a plate.
Right. Or even just buying your morning bread from the potter, the traditional baker doing his rounds.
And if you think about the bigger picture there,
yeah,
every single rupee or dollar or whatever currency spent within that local community, it's not just paying for goods, it's like casting a vote.
A vote for what?
A vote for keeping that tradition going.
Right.
For supporting that skill, that person, their family. It shows how all our small individual choices where we buy our bread, where we eat dinner, they actually add up. They have this cumulative power to shape whether a local culture thrives or fades.
That makes sense. But this call to action, buying local, seeking out artisans, it sounds wonderful, but let's be real. Is it always practical in our fast-paced lives? Does the source kind of acknowledge the hurdles? Maybe things cost a bit more sometimes, or they're harder to find?
That's a really fair point. And yes, Implicitly, the source acknowledges it's a choice. Often, it's a conscious decision against the easy option, against the path of least resistance. It frames it less as just an economic transaction and more as choosing to reinforce a certain value system, one that maybe prioritizes that connection, that tradition, over pure, raw efficiency.
So it's about being intentional.
Exactly. Intentionality is key.
Okay, moving beyond the people and the commerce, Goa's identity, as the source points out, is so deeply tied to its natural environment, too.
Absolutely. The landscape is part of its soul.
Its rivers, the forests, those famous beaches, they're described as jewels, but they're facing real threats. Over-tourism is mentioned, and just negligence.
Yeah, the pressure is immense.
And the message here feels like it shifts again. It's not just about feeling nostalgic for how things were, but about getting actively involved now.
Stepping up.
Yeah, the calls to action become more collective. Things like joining beach cleanups together, getting involved in tree planting drives, making a real commitment to saying no to plastic.
That no to plastic sounds so simple, but wow, it's a daily effort, isn't it?
Sure.
Everywhere.
It really is. And it also mentions speaking up if you see a heritage building looking neglected. Or lending a hand, offering support if maybe your neighbor is trying to keep a traditional art form alive but struggling.
And that brings up an important point.
Yeah.
It's not presented as just one group's job. It's about locals, yes, but also expats, visitors, tourists.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of joining forces.
A shared responsibility.
Precisely. This idea that protecting the culture, protecting the environment, it's something everyone has a stake in. It's vital if you want to keep that true spirit of a place alive for the next generation. Keep it authentic.
So let's try and bring this all together. What does this Goan story mean for you, listening right now? The source puts forward this idea it calls the Goan Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And it really asks you to think about a choice, a fundamental one maybe. It's this choice between, say, convenience and community, or between just letting things happen, apathy, and actually taking action. The challenge, as they frame it, is to consciously pick the path that supports the local culture, that respects the land, and that tries to preserve that genuine spirit of home, wherever home is for you.
And importantly, it's not about trying to turn back the clock or just, sighing about the good old days.
Right, not just nostalgia.
No, it's positioned as being about actively making tomorrow better, together.
So the core idea we're left with is that the essence of a place like Goa, it's not a museum piece. It's not just a memory locked in time.
No, it's living, breathing.
Exactly, it's dynamic. And it needs constant care, conscious choices, and real participation from everyone who values it.
Which leads us to that final thought, maybe, that takeaway question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Consider this. What's the Goa in your own life?
Meaning,
is there a local tradition, maybe a special natural spot you love, or just a community practice?
Yeah.
Something in your world that might be quietly fading, or maybe just a bit neglected. And if there is, what's one small intentional thing you could choose to do this week? Just one small step to help support its spirit, to help it endure.